What's up, Lantern fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast of the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network, here with a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Superpowers figure of Green Lantern John Stewart. I really wasn't a fan of the original Superpowers line, so I initially didn't have any interest in this figure until I saw photos online of just how good this figure looked. These are certainly an upgrade over the original series, but I couldn't find any of these in the wild. And that's when I was contacted on Twitter by two Green Lantern superfans, Russell Clark and Dan Kurtzke, the very same day, and they said, "We have found the figure. We're going to go ahead and send these to you." So let's go ahead and get a closer look at the package details now. This is your basic retro old school card and bubble design. It says Superpowers Green Lantern. Here's a close look at the artwork on the front, and I do like that a lot. The bubble is very clear and it allows you to see the entire figure, and I'm certainly appreciative of that. On the back, we get a look at the other figures available in this wave, as well as the Batwing and the Supermobile. We also get this brief biography of John Stewart. If you'd like to read this, go ahead and pause the video and do so now. And now it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. Here is the figure free of the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. And here we see the Master Builder out of the package and ready to rumble. This series honors the original line, but at the same time made some very definite improvements. So I think there's a lot to like about this figure. So let's go ahead and get a look at the loose details now. Here's a close-up of the personal power battery, and I'm very impressed by this. The handle is a pliable plastic that makes it easy to get into the gripping hand. I like the color choice here, the way the plastic looks on the inner part. Good sculpting all around. And I certainly appreciate these lines that have been sculpted on the side. This is much more than a perfunctory effort from McFarlane. Let's have a look at the lower body now, and the figure is sturdier than I thought it would be, although you do have to have them posed correctly. Here's a look at the boots. I like this color choice. I don't think you need metallic paint on a retro figure. I think these look really good. I really like the fact that the edges of the boots are sculpted. You can feel them with your finger, so I certainly appreciate that. And I'm very impressed by the sculpting here on the quadriceps. Much more definition than I thought there would be. In terms of articulation, he has a single peg knee joint, and you can get the leg to articulate up that far. This type of joint doesn't move outward at all, but you can get him to kick forward that much, and you can get the leg to go backward that far, so I appreciate that. I really would have liked an ankle joint, but for this type of figure, we got more articulation than I thought we would get. The torso is still a little thick for my taste. That's one of the things that I didn't like about the original line, is that everyone looked like they were built like Ram Man. But in this case, there's definitely improvements. You can see the light dancing off of the muscle definition on the abdominals, back here on the latissimus dorsi, and the trapezius here. So this is certainly an improvement. You can even see some definition here on the rib cage, so I certainly appreciate that. The Green Lantern symbol is a little asymmetrical, but I have to give McFarlane credit for the tight paintwork here. Although I really wish we would have gotten elbow joints on this figure, there's lots of great sculpt work here. You can see the individual muscle groups here with the deltoids, the biceps, the triceps. Yeah, that looks better than I expected, and this green paint choice really makes the wrist gauntlets pop. And when you have the figure's arms at his sides, the lines on the green sections do line up nicely on the back. If you just work with the fingers and pull them outward gently, you can slide the handle of the personal power battery into the figure's hand. So I appreciate this accessory and the way he looks holding it. The paint application and the sculpt on the edges of the ring are both admirable. I really would have liked a Green Lantern symbol, but I knew for this type of figure that was very unlikely. Although this head sculpt has been produced in a cartoonish style, I still think there's a lot to like here. I think the mouth and the cheekbones have been sculpted very well. There's good paint applications on the eyebrows. There's a good, stern, fitting expression for John Stewart. Here's a look at the profile. I don't think the skin is overly plastic, although the hair on the back of the head is a little uneven. As you would expect, the articulation is side to side and nothing further. Here's the figure in comparison to the Justice League Unlimited Tomar Ray, the Hyatt Toys Injustice 2 Hal Jordan, the Infinite Heroes John Stewart, and one of the Hal Jordan 3 3/4 inch movie figures. And I think the Superpowers figure holds up well. It doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look cheap. So I'm really impressed with what McFarlane achieved here. Once again, I'd like to thank Russell and Dan for sending me these figures and making this review possible. You can find Russell on Twitter, where he posts day-to-day Green Lantern. This highlights Green Lantern comics and other comics in which Green Lanterns have appeared on their specific release dates throughout history. Dan is a founding member of the Lantern Cast. He also has his own channel here on YouTube entitled Mosaic Comics, where he explores the history of Green Lantern and some other comic book related properties. I'll also include a link in the description below for the episode of the Emerald Echo podcast where Dan joined us to talk about Green Lantern. Make sure to look up both of these Green Lantern superfans online and become part of the Green Lantern community. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back to the internet with more Green Lantern related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.